Rise and shine, Rwanda. It's Friday, the 13th of February.
Coming up on today's weekly review show.
Everyone deserves a little fun. We partied with the kids at a special event.
While the parents are away, the babies will play. Fidelis looked into the business of daycare centers.
Arnold profiled two chess prodigies taking Rwanda by storm.
And we visited the latest installment of an event that's changing the face of Rwanda's entertainment scene. Good morning and welcome to our weekly review show where we take you back through the best of the week here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Regis Isheja.
And I'm Makeda Mahadio. Over the next 2 hours, or the next hour rather, we will be bringing you a review of the week's top stories, analysis, debate, and insights into the stories making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine crew have been throughout the week diligently gathering and preparing everything you need to know about what's happening here in Rwanda and around the world.
Well, it's been a busy week for us here at the Rise and Shine headquarters. One of the most interesting stories that I reported on this week was a center helping kids get out of the streets. You probably know the late Cyprien Rugamba as one of the greatest artists our country has ever seen. But did you know that Rugamba and his late wife Daphrose also contributed to Rwandan kids staying off the streets and growing up in a good environment? Fidesco, a children's center opened by the late couple, recently had its annual party. Let's take a look back at Tuesday's story. Kids playing on a sunny day, laughing, smiling, and enjoying themselves. Just the way it should be. Fidesco, a center for children, throws an annual party for these kids, and they love it.
Iyi programme yatangiye n'utwa Super Daphrose Rugamba bakaba ari abanyarwanda b'abahanzi. Aribo bashinze iki kigo cyitwa Community Emmanuel bakaba rero babonye abana baga mu muhanda bakawugirira impuhwe bakumva kandi bashobora kuvamo abana bazima bagira icyo bamarira igihugu cyabo.
This is not just all games. It's also a way for these kids to mingle, get to know each other, and learn the basics of life.
Ko mbikunda nuko banasabanye n'inshuti zanjye kandi yabaye n'abandi bantu tugomba kwishimirana twese tukamenyana.
Aside from all the fun, they're also getting their feet wet in the ICT world.
I was really glad to learn that one of the methods for rehabilitation is to expose them to new technologies. And we are talking with the Minister of Education to see how we can even strengthen the capacity of this center to provide more hands-on IT skills, which is a pathway towards normal education.
IT, in this case, is also helping them learn their everyday class lessons in a different and fresher way.
IT itself is a discipline, but using IT to learn all sorts of other things like art, drawing, but also subjects like mathematics, English, physics, and everything you can use IT to learn. And it tends to be faster and tends to be more fun for kids and young people to adopt.
This is a special day for these kids, and they also get to invite their friends and neighbors to the party of the year.
Umunsi twari twatekereje kugira iteka ku mwaka utangiye tukora umunsi mukuru w'abana kuba Noheli kwifuza umwaka mwiza ariko abana baba mu kigo cyacu bagatumira abagenzi babo bagatumira abaturanye kugira ngo bose bishime bumve kandi ko ari abana kimwe n'abandi.
A long, long way from their former life on the streets. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining us in studio is Grace Muimundu and Annelise Umunyana from Chaba, Rwanda. Good morning, Grace and Annelise.
Good morning.
All right, the first thing I really want to know is, what's the first experience like when these kids have been on the street for such a long time and all of a sudden they're in a, family-like environment,
controlled
environment. How does it work?
So basically the thing they lost in the streets is the confidence and the trust in adult people. So what they try to regain is really the trust to each other, to themselves, but also to the adults.
How do you recruit the kids for the program?
So the center actually has former street kids who've grown up in the center and who are now in their 30s, have gone to school and come back to the center. And so the Centre Rugamba uses these people to go out in the streets and actually bring those kids to the center.
Now, the thing is, I was a huge Rugamba fan. I think his music has been some of the great we've had in this country, if not the best. Now, when he thought about it, because it was in 1992 that he started the whole thing, right? When he thought about it, was it the same thing as it is now? Like you had these kids, was it Maibogos on the streets? Was it just regular kids? How did it work?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically it was, there was kids who were in the streets. Mainly they were at marketplaces or near buses where they can easily beg for money. So there is a story which we got to know from Dorsey Rugamba, his son, that is maybe not the accurate one, that the mother was actually selling milk at a market.
I heard, yes.
But we're not very sure if it's really the right story.
I think it is true,
it is
because I read something online as well.
And as I was doing my research, that's what I came across as well, yes.
So yeah, she was selling milk, and then she was feeling sad about this kid, starting giving them milk, and then she got the idea really to set up a center, because giving them milk is not going to solve the whole issue. They need to go back to schools, get reinserted in the society. So she really thought bigger and got also some funding from Communauté d'Emmanuel, where they also supported them with funding, but also with capacities.
So do you only work with the children, or do you sometimes work with families who are also vulnerable, who can't manage the children, or they're having problems? Is it only with the kids?
Actually, the center, because it's a rehabilitation center, so they work in partnership with parents in the cases where the children do have living parents. And in the case where the children's parents are deceased and the children are orphaned, they work with close family members, so like the aunts, the uncles, and if not, they will work with the adoptive family. So they try to really create this link between the child and the parent or the adoptive parent.
Now, we saw the Minister of Youth and ICT, the Honorable Jean-Philibert Nsengimana. He was talking about how they're trying to incorporate IT and ICT in their learning experiences. How does that work?
They've just donated computers to the center, and thank you so much to the Ministry of Youth and ICT. He came over, he saw the kids, and he's like, we're going to give you guys computers.
Right.
So we were super happy about that, because we've also noticed that it's also an aspect of actually integrating them into society, teaching them how to use technology, modern technology, and so it's really been working out great. A lot of the kids can type up stuff on the computer and everything, so it's pretty impressive.
So after they've finished the program, after they've been reintegrated or they finished their rehabilitation, do you keep up with them? Do you follow along? Is there any ever relapses or?
So basically that's the great support from the center. They really go back into the families, see how they were integrated, because these kids, most of them go to the street because there were some violence in their families, some mother-in-laws didn't really accept them. So it's a big of a background of a violent environment. So what the center does is really to go back, to talk to the kids, make sure they're happy in their families, and if they are not, they take them back. But really the idea is to have a follow-up on not only a monthly basis, but even years later, they keep a contact. And even the kids, when they have an issue, they go back to the center. It's for them.
Now, I remember sending this to Grace as I was kind of prepping for the interview, and we were talking about how back in the late 90s, there was a lot of maibobos in the cities and all that, and that used to break my heart because I was like, these kids just need a family, they'll be all right. Yeah. And now, how does it work? Because you still see a bit of that. It's not as much as it used to be, but there's still, some here and there, especially downtown. How does it work? Do you still engage them? Do you get them to be motivated to want to come to the centers? How does it work?
I mean, it's obviously not easy because these children, they get used to this lifestyle of the streets. And people sometimes give them money, which is very discouraged. I mean, if you can give them food, give them anything but not money, because that's what keeps them coming to the streets. There are several centers, maybe not exactly the same as Rugamba, and they try to take the kids and reinsert them as well, but it's not easy. And you've also heard about, the island, I think Iwawa Island, where some of the kids have been taken. And so there are different methods, but I think, we've really started to work with the center because we felt very comfortable with their method of reinsertion into society.
So how can one volunteer or get involved with this project?
Well, you can talk to us. We actually created a Facebook page, Rugamba Center. It's on Facebook. We're going to be posting the pictures of this party. And also, I mean, our group of friends who've just been we've just started this. This is like our 3rd year of doing this party. You can reach us on this Facebook page, or you can write to us on centrerugamba@gmail.com. And may I please give some shout-outs to people who've really been very supportive before we finish. So I would really like to thank the Centre Rugamba for the volunteers, the staff. They've been super helpful and, hosting the party with us. Prof, Ministry of Gender and Family Planning, as well as the National Commission of Children. They've really been very supportive as well. The Ministry of ICT, Minister of ICT, obviously, the Youth and ICT. The IMF donated a huge amount to the center as well. Sawasiti, Chocolat, the Chairman's Club, aka Albert. Albert, you guys, everyone knows him, I think, in Kigali.
Okay, some big shout-outs.
Big shout-outs. And 2 last ones is Exacom. They've been super helpful as well. And all the friends of the center and We Care friends.
Before we have to wrap up, how did you come up with the idea of the party? Because it's so cute. The kids seem to be having so much fun.
Actually, our friend Alice, who is not here, she came up with this idea. She's like, how about we have a party for the kids? Because 3 years ago, there was a kid that we knew who was in the hospital at CHK, and so our first party was at CHK actually 3 years ago, and so we were like, why don't we throw these kids a party? Like just something small. It doesn't have to be huge. And so we've managed to get like singers to come and do shows for them. We've managed to have people come do speeches, and we've all just kind of.
It must be really encouraging for them.
It is.
It is, and we kind of also get so much from them. It's not only them getting a party, but we're also getting so many feelings, and they were so kind kids. We have fun, and it's actually a really big party for all of us.
It is.
Mike, did you see them dancing in there?
Just watching, I was having so much fun.
We were having too much fun.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. Such a good initiative.
It is, to think about the fact that Cyprien Rugamba and his wife Dafrosa didn't just leave a legacy, a musical legacy, an artistic legacy for this country, but they also left a great humanitarian legacy.
Definitely, definitely. Those kids were so cute. Now, another story that really caught our attention this week was a program by an NGO helping to sustain the lives of many. Socioeconomic change, psychosocial health, life skills training, you name it. Higu Ubejo, a program designed to help Rwandans cope with their everyday struggles, has been helping more than 72,000 families across the country. Beneficiaries are taught how to prepare nutritious meals, help fight malnutrition, and how to do small-scale trading, among many other things. But will they be able to stay on track once the program officially ends? Let's have a look.
Supporting Rwandan families, orphans, vulnerable children, and people living with HIV/AIDS. That has been the goal for Higu Ubejo for the past couple of years. The program has helped many struggling households access quality health and social services. No handouts here. This is a program that's helping the everyday Rwandan lift themselves out of poverty. Keyword, themselves.
This program was started 5 years ago. with intention to address the needs of the most vulnerable children, their families and guardians, some of them or many of them affected with HIV and AIDS. We provided a holistic package of services where people may have, the menu was presented to them, which included education support, health support, psychosocial support, economic strengthening, food security, and nutrition. Families went into the program throughout a specific activity and then may decided to go on with the follow-up activities. So at the end it was a holistic support that was provided that showed and was proved that was effective in terms of the reduction of poverty among the families that we serve.
The program Higu Ubejo means be determined and live in Kinyarwanda. Beneficiaries are called abahizi, another Kinyarwanda word that refers to people committed to participating in achieving a goal. For a country that has made its homegrown solutions a trademark, this falls under imihigo.
No kuba ntinyutse guhagarara ibyo byose mbikesha Higu Ubejo by'umwihariko mfite umurima wanje, mfite inzu yanjye, mfite atelier kwikora cyane kuba yarigishe na murumuna wanje mbega urumva ni ibintu yangireho umumaro byinshi.
Higu Ubejo provides psychosocial help, life skills trainings, public health promotion, and educational services to about 72,000 Rwandan families in 20 districts. They get trainings on how to save and how to access loans when needed. Abahizi also learn from one another on how to increase their crop yields and prepare nutritious foods.
And for those who are still in the destitution and the very poor families, we can see their solutions to come out of these levels of poverty. So, to me, the program is just one step ahead in the process, in the pathway that Rwanda has set to become self-reliant.
Abahizi end up becoming Abahuza, who are the link between Higu Ubejo and the everyday Rwandan. Abahuza are volunteers who spread the word in their respective communities, hoping to help lift more Rwandans out of poverty.
No mu mutwe narafungutse sinageraga imbere y'abandi ngo ngire icyo navuga ariko ndavuga nta n'ikibazo ndi umwana ukeye nawe urabibona n'amaso yawe.
The program initiators say the results speak for themselves and that the program mantra will live on long after it has officially ended. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining us in studio now is Just Kaihura from Global Communities. Just, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so now tell us about the genesis of this program. I mean, how long has it been running and what are the real results that it has accomplished?
Higu Ubejo program is, first of all, it's a funded program by USAID through the PEPFAR, which is the Presidential Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. It started in Rwanda in 2009, and we call it, it's a OVC flagship, OVC meaning orphans and other vulnerable children. This program was designed to help all those vulnerable families, to help them lift themselves out of poverty.
So tell me, what exactly goes into this program? Is there centers that people go to, or is there trainers that visit homes? Exactly how does it happen?
The entry point were more than 50,000 children. So the program supported them with scholastic materials and school fees. After that, we realized that we can't help the families by just paying school fees. So we needed to teach their parents and guardians, not give them a fish, but teach them how to fish. So we helped we recruited the parents into savings groups. After that, we taught them how to use, to integrate their biointensive agriculture techniques through farmer field schools, and couple that with nutrition services and psychosocial supports. So there was only one entry point, which were the children, and then we go after their families.
Now, I've gotten to meet some of the beneficiaries. It's been amazing stories. We've had some on the show here. One who has her own sewing shop. The other one, we just saw Chantal talk about what she's been able to accomplish in Nyabihu. I mean, tangible results. How many people have been coming to you and telling you, you've completely changed my life, Higu Ubejo has completely changed my life?
We have many, many success stories, but we have evidence-based evidence for the results. We've done a longitudinal cohort study over 3 years, and through that we realized that it's pretty much visiting the families 3 successive years, and then assessing their income and assets. And for that, the results show for themselves. Over 87% have moved from the lower categories of the Ubudehe that we know, 1 and 2, right. And through the program, they've moved towards upper category 3, 4, and 5.
So is this an ongoing program?
The program was for 5 years, starting in 2009 and ending at the end of the month.
So what's the next step?
Although Higu Ubejo program is ending, Global Communities is still in the country. We have 3 other programs, Ejoheza, we have another program with cooperatives, Emerge, and another one with UNICEF, that we work with UNICEF and the National Commission for Children, NCC, taking children out of, I'm losing this.
Out of poverty?
Out of institutions.
Institutions, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Now, I was lucky to participate in a conference you held not too long ago, which didn't really feel like a conference. It felt more like a get-together, a gathering where everybody talked about what they had accomplished through Higu Ubejo, whether it be the implementers or the ones that benefited from it. And the great thing about it is that you have Abahizi, who are the beneficiaries that come out of it and become Abahus. And Abahus are the ones who are a link between global communities, between Higu Ubejo and the Abahizi, which I think is an unbelievable thing. And the great thing about it is that they're saying, even when Higu Ubejo ends, they'll keep working on it, because now they've realized that having money is not what's being lifted out of poverty is all about. It's more a brain thing, it's a mind thing, it's a mentality thing. Now, how many other people are they going and recruiting out there? How is it working?
This is what we call the spontaneous replication. Without any investment, the same people are going out and their neighbors are seeing what they're doing, and originally being at the same level of poverty, and they see their neighbors, so they ask them to join those savings groups, to join the nutrition group or the farmer field schools. So there's a spontaneous replication. Like you said earlier, the target was to reach 72,000 families, but we've reached over 75,000 households. So if you look at the average size of a family in Rwanda, that's going over 350,000 people who were affected by this program.
An amazing program. Thank you so much for
You'll
sharing some light on that.
You'll never believe seeing someone go from having 1,000 Rwandan francs to being a multi-millionaire.
I mean, it's inspiring, and I'm looking forward to more things from Global Communities.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Juice, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Helping Rwandans lift themselves out of poverty. Pretty cool, right?
Such an uplifting story. I really loved that one, for sure.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda, the review show. Now, there were some big business stories in the news this week, from the Rwandan franc depreciating against the US dollar to a daycare center giving women the chance to go back to work. Let's have a look.
The number of women in the country's workforce has significantly grown over the past couple of years, with over 64% of them constituting the Rwandan parliament, and many others involved in various economic activities. This has to some extent been amplified by the contribution of childcare centers, which help to take care of their children while they go back to their jobs. Earlier this week, Fidelis went to find out more about these childcare centers. Take a look.
Childcare centers were in the past considered a luxury by most, as it was believed to be a woman's responsibility to take care of their children at all times. This has however changed, with most women preferring to leave their children at childcare centers and getting back to work. And for Esther, a parent here at Peace and Hope Nursery School, she says her children have become very clever since they started attending this school.
akirinda bimwe byo muri quartier by'imico mibi abana barajijutse cyane urabona nk'uwanjye wigamo aravuga icyongereza nkayiberwa ibyo ari kumbwira yarangiza akambwira uzajye kureba arubera agusobanurire we yarize uri nkandagira bitoma uzaze kwiga mbese urabona ko abarimu babigisha barasobanutse cyane.
For this care center, however, business is not easy, as very little money is paid by the parents to go towards tuition fees. And for the caregivers as well, having to take care of so many young children has proven to be a challenge.
Urebye minervare ntayo ni nk'umusanzu dutanga kuko nta shuri rya gardienne ritanga amafaranga ngana kuri ni nk'umusanzu kugira ngo abarimu bashobore guhembwa naho ubundi gardienne nyinshi zitanga amafaranga menshi cyane nk'ibihumbi 50, 60 kugeza no mu ijana yewe.
It is really not easy because you face a lot. Some kids are too young. You find that you have to pump them. You find yourself you have to wash their hands, what and what. So it is really a hard task.
Although the government is in the process of setting up cheap and even free childcare centers in most parts of the country, for most caregivers, they believe that more efforts should be put in place to encourage parents to bring their children to the centers, as most do not understand its importance.
What should be done is these leaders of ours, like the community leaders as in LCs and whatever, they should put in more effort to talk, I should say personally, to those parents and encourage them and show them the right what those kids have to education.
With this being a trending and even profitable business for some people, one can easily say that these childcare centers have been of great benefits, especially for the women. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine, Rwanda. Joining us in studio is Albert Musabyimana, founder of Peace and Hope Nursery School. Welcome, Albert, to the show.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. So according to the conversation we had earlier, I understand for you, when you started this nursery school, it was basically as a way of you giving back to your community, the one you grew up in, and you saw some of the problems that were in the community, like, you know, these young children who had no place to go. So how long has this nursery school been there for, and how is it doing so far?
Yeah, thank you very much. We have this idea of give basic education to those children, because, you know, their mother, they don't care about education, because most of them, they had child-headed households. They had to assume a lot of parenting after losing their parents and their auntie families, and sometimes they got unwanted pregnancies, and they don't, so they're not able to give them basic education, and when they go to school, they don't get that chance to go in primary school because they don't have that basic education. And so, as the one who got the chance of being educated, because after even we had to assume a lot of parenting, government of Rwanda and other people helped us to progress our study, and we got success from schooling, and we said our neighbors should not live as we lived, because, you know, we suffered a lot, and it is where the idea came from, to see what we can do. It's like a gratitude to the government of Rwanda and other people who helped us to grow up, and that's why, you see, we started that nursery school to give them basic education to see if they can keep growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's been there for how long? How long has it been running for?
Yeah, it's now 3 years, because we started in 2012, and now last year we did like a campaign of telling the interest of giving the basic education, like ECD, agile development, because it is very important to the children who are vulnerable. So because now we have many children, many kids who want to come to access that basic education. We are limited to allow them to come, but we are praying God to see if we can get capacity to allow them to come in our ECD center to get that basic education. Yeah.
Now we see very many daycare centers all over Kigali, even up country. It's becoming something that people are getting used to and venturing into it as a business. And you know, for some, they're actually doing very well. Actually, one of the people I interviewed of yours was saying the people pay up to 100,000, even more, to have their children attend these daycare centers. So I understand that has been a challenge, especially for you being in a community that not so many people can afford to that kind of money. Please tell us a bit more about some of these challenges that you've been facing.
Yeah, we got that challenge because, you know, our community created by the people who have been selected in former Kigali City, where they have selected two people in each sector in former Kigali City, where those people are vulnerable, like those childless households and the childless elderly and the people living with HIV. And we grouped us there as those people have the problem. And we reached there in 2005. So those children who are 12, 13 years, 15 years, they don't get that education because, you know, that the parents were depending on food donations, and they don't care about education. So as I told you, we sit down and you see we got success from schooling. The people, the government, people helped us. So what can we do to help? I show you the hall where we started because the idea of the hall was just to see if we can teach each other, and we teach the...
Actually, that's the next question I was going to ask you. I understand you had told me as a way of raising money for your community, you were to start the Agaseke program in your community so you can get money to support your community. How is that going, and when should we be able to see the benefits of that for your community? Yeah,
it's because, you know, as I told you, it's like a gratitude to show. If someone gave you a cow, we have also to give it again to him, to show that you appreciate what he did to you. But we said the government, as the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency, came to visit us, and no way to show him that we know that he helped us. So to show that we have to help those people who are unable to help themselves. So it is where we had an idea of a hall where those childless elderly, those people living HIV, where they can make those basket whatever. But it is not like it is not going well as we wished. But now we are saying we have to help those young people. The foundation of a state, it's like it's an education of the youth. It is where we had an idea of helping the smaller children. The parents are not able to really give a contribution. Exactly. When we ask them a contribution, sometimes they take back the children because they said, but as the one who had that idea, I don't wish the kids to go back home because of no money. I totally understand. You're doing a great job, Albert, and we wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see these kids are indeed the future, so we hope to see them doing very well in the near future. Thank you very much for coming to the show. Thank you.
The role of the woman really becoming more and more obvious in this country.
Really great to know that these efforts are being made to help them out. Now, this week, I swear, it was like the week of the cutest kids ever. I think this is one of my favorite things.
The entire time, you guys at home don't get to see this, but the entire time, Akira was like, oh, the entire time.
I was dying.
Right.
More of these, hopefully, to come.
Absolutely. You're watching Rise and Shine's weekly review show. Let's take a look back at the week that was in sports with Arnold Kwizera.
Well, this week we saw Arnold delve into some interesting and fun sports stories, from the Tour de Rwanda winner Valence Ndayisenga taking part in Africa Cycling competition to two young chess prodigies. Please tell us more, Regis. This is your thing.
Right, McKenna. Like many sports and games in the country, chess has started mushrooming in the country as the sport has started to gain presence in the country, more so propelled by young talents. Two siblings, Ian Murara and Layola Muhoza, have been flying the Rwandan flag high at international events, and early in the week, Arnold caught up with these geniuses to find out what drives their passion.
Chess, a game of strategy played by two players, is one of the most popular games in the world, with the game tracing its roots back to 1850. The recent tries of Ian Murara and Layola Muhoza have brought attention to a sport in need of the sport's back pages.
My name is Ian and I'm 12 years old. I like playing chess.
My name is Layla. I'm the second born. I'm 11 years old. I go to Green Hills Academy and I like chess very much.
At their tender age, one is keen to know when these prodigies started playing chess and why.
Well, I started playing chess when I was 6 and I actually started it here. Well, it was in this particular saloon.
I started playing chess at 5 when I was 5. At first, I didn't really like it, as my father taught us the same day in this same area. But then I wasn't interested in it, so I didn't really like chess.
For a game she didn't originally have interest in, Layola has experienced some of her fondest memories thanks to the pawns, knights, and castles.
It was when I went to Norway, and when I bet people of 25 and above. When I bet them with no putting that much effort, and I was very happy for that. And when I went to Norway, I felt like continuing playing chess forever.
Having already represented Rwanda at a World Championship and an Olympiad, these ambitious teenagers dream of one day taking over the world.
I wish I could become, well, I'll work for it to become a grandmaster, a very good player. I want to be able to beat everyone. I want to be able to become the best player in Rwanda, then in Africa, then maybe the world.
I'm not looking forward only beating girls. I'm looking forward to beat my father, my brother, and other people.
But how do they prepare for a chess tournament?
I train with my brother, who is better than me, and I also train with my father. And because we have books about our Garry Kasparov, Karpov, and many other good chess players, I go there and I look forward it, and I see the games, and then I see the opening that they do, and I start like that, and then I'll be sure I'll beat them.
As a need to keep a fresh mind, Ian and Layola, like many of their peers, have their own sports stars and favorite teams.
Basketball. It's LeBron James.
My favorite sport is soccer, so my favorite team is FC Barcelona. I like the players, Suarez, Neymar, and my favorite player is Lionel Messi.
The two are not only siblings, but also training partners, so we tasked them on how best they know each other.
Blue.
She's right. Aqua.
He's right.
Doctor.
It's true. Businessman.
True.
Okay, they do know a lot about each other, but there were some misses.
Bad boys, too.
I guess it's wrong. Doggy blog.
Wrong. He likes making jokes. Sometimes they're not funny, but then he's really kind to me when he wants to be.
Well, there you have it. Even budding geniuses like Ian and Layola are mottos after all. Arnold, Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
Now, Ian and Layola, that was great. They're going to represent Rwanda tomorrow, I don't know in which Olympics. They're pretty good.
They're very good. Ian last year was at the World Chess Championship, and he's now 12. By then he was just 11. These are current national champions in Uganda. In Rwanda, whereby they defeated people way older than them. You had, as Layola said, when she won the females championship title in Rwanda, she defeated people who are over 25 years, and that's how she got the chance to represent the country at the Chess Olympiad. I think the sky is the limit for these two budding chess stars. And for a game like chess that requires a lot of attention, a lot of strategy, a lot of reading, you know, them being able to carry it out, it's a genius in its own form. And that's something they pick from probably their father, who is a chess master in the country.
Now, we know when it comes to cycling, the Rwandan Federation is doing pretty good compared to other sports. Here, is it the same for chess?
Chess, at the moment, they're not yet a registered legal entity in the country, meaning they're not yet recognized and supported by the Ministry of Sports and Culture. But talking to the president of the Chess Federation earlier, he told me they are working on getting their legal entity. They're currently trying to mushroom at different places. They have a public training every Sunday at the National Public Library. And I think with time and proper organization, chess is going to pick up. It's still played by a few people in the elitist circle, whereby tournaments are attracting just over 30 to 40 people. But the most encouraging thing is most of the people who are taking up the sport or the game are very young people, which shows a bright future for the sport.
The week of the cutest kids, I'm telling you.
It's gonna be your favorite review show.
This has to be my favorite. They're so cute. No, honestly, these two, they were not only cute though, they were extremely impressive. And it actually reminds me, we spoke about it here before, the movie that Disney is making about the young girl in Uganda who is a chess star, Fiona Mutesi. I'm thinking, you know, maybe we got some chess stars in our youth as well over here in Rwanda.
What I'm trying to do is talk to Layola's and Ian's mom. I know their mom, and she's so proud of the kids.
Of course, I'm proud of them.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to her and see what she can, because, I mean, this talent can just go to waste, right?
Well, I mean, they're studying up, they're doing their competitions. Hey, it's not wasting.
They need trainers. I don't know what they need, man. Someone help them, please. All right, we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda Lifestyle Now. But before we get into it, of course, it is time to announce the winner of our movie ticket competition. So yesterday announced that he would be giving away 2 free movie tickets to whoever answered the movie question, which was, how many Lethal Weapon movies were there? Number 1, 2. Oh, let's say A, okay? Right. Let's not confuse it. Right. A, 2, B, 3, or C, 4. And the answer was 4. There were 4 Lethal Weapon movies.
All right, so the first person to answer on Facebook was Lion A. San. You get 2 tickets to watch any movie of your choice at Century Cinema this weekend. Enjoy. Now, don't worry if you missed out this time. We've got lots of goodies to give away in the coming weeks.
So, lately it seems like Rwanda's entertainment scene is growing every day, with more and more screenings, art exhibits, comedy shows, and live bands taking over Kigali's weekends. One event seems to be at the forefront of this fun revolution, bringing international and local acts together for small shows every few months, culminating in a big festival taking place every summer. Last weekend was the latest installment of the Kigali Soundcheck series, and we were there to capture it. Take a look. Kigali is an annual music festival bringing together international and local music, art, food, and fun all in one space. Over the years, the festival has featured African megastars such as Ismail Lo and Habib Koite, international Rwandan acts such as Shad and Nicole Musoni, and all of your favorite local acts from Riderman to Urban Boys to J. Polly in their summer main event. But once a year just isn't enough. So Kigali Up decided to supplement the funk throughout the year with their spontaneous Soundcheck series. Thais Diarra is the latest international headliner to hit Kigali's hills for a Soundcheck session. And this Malian, Senegalese, Swiss songstress captivated patrons at the Milcoline Hotel this weekend.
It was beyond. It was amazing. Like, I am having such a blast, and I can't wait for, you know, future Kigali events, because this one is really good, but also the last one was amazing.
Well, it's amazing. Like you can see, it's something good for us. We interact with new people, new clients, and the audience is really fantastic. It's good for us.
It was so energetic. Like you felt it, and then you could feel that the crowd was feeling it, which made me even more excited about it. I really liked it. I think for like the social culture of Rwanda or Kigali, it's really needed. So when you see the gatherings right here, you see so many people, and everyone is so excited, and they're really feeling it. So if there's something, I would say is more and more. That's all.
Well, I think she said it best. Makeda Mahario, Rise and Shine Rwanda. Okay, and joining us now is Eric Kirenga of Afro Groove. You are one of the collaborators of Kigali Up.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Kigali Up.
Kigali Up is that annual festival. It's happening once a year in July, open air. We've got live music. Live music is really important. We want every musician to play live. We've got entertainment. We've got like food, market stalls. We just try to gather a whole lot of different creative and entrepreneurs to come and gather for 2 days and just like, you know, celebrate life, celebrate Rwanda, and bring Rwanda to a new light by bringing local artists to rub their shoulder with international artists. And then those international artists come, they bring their knowledge, their know-how to show the Rwandan scene how is it to get outside.
So Kigali Up, we've seen that it's just been growing year after year. It's growing bigger. We have big acts that come here, but it's not just the festival, right? There's also some other events that surround it. It's
the idea of the festival is really to professionalize the music industry. And the best way to professionalize the music industry is to inspire people. I think that, you know, due to access to everything in technology, people can see what are the big acts doing. And it's really easy to be inspired by the Chris Brown or the Lil Wayne, but there's a process behind all that. Those guys didn't come at the top of the game just like overnight. There's a whole process into it. So we just try together to bring all those elements together by creating workshops as well. You know, the community into the festival 2 or 3 weeks before, there's like sound engineering, light engineering coming through, stage managers, photographers, and we've got a whole bunch of volunteers who are coming to be part of Kigali Up and learning from professionals coming from France, from Belgium, from America, who are coming to interact with the local people, the local creative people, not only the artists and the musician, but also the people who want to be into the industry.
So tell me, there is the big Kigali Up in the summer, each summer, but then there is the Soundcheck series.
Yeah, but people, it wasn't enough. Once a year, you know, however the size and the space of the Amaro Stadium, which is a wonderful space to do what we do, is just not enough. People are very hungry for that kind of quality entertainment, and there's been demand for us to tour the country and to do things in other cities as well when the diaspora is, or where other African communities are. There's a network of different festivals happening in the East African region, South African region. We won't have that conversation happening, but we have to start slowly. So we're going to start like slowly by doing a Soundcheck series, which is like a partnership we have with the Milcoline Hotel, who've been most amazing partners, supporters forever. Since we started, it's the 3rd session, and they're really down with us. They want us to bring international artists who come with the original material, which is a very important point. We bring people who come and write their own song, arrange their own song, and rub their shoulder with the local bands playing at the Milcoline. And Milcoline become that destination, that spot where you can listen to music every day. So. And they've got an hotel, they've got a nice little, you know, gastronomy going on. So there's nice food, nice services, nice room. So it's all in one. We don't need to go from place to place with our performers. They all come to one place and they've got the whole thing going on there.
Now, this Soundcheck series that happened last weekend with Thais Diarra.
Thais Diarra.
She was amazing. People loved her. You saw the people really enjoyed. How did you manage to get her here for this?
That's the story. That's the story. Okay. As part of Kigali Up, we have a bunch of volunteers. You know, the founder of Kigali Up Festival is Popo, Mighty Popo, musician, who's been like doing business, doing the music for 20 years in Canada and internationally.
Very acclaimed folk singer.
Yeah, exactly. Acclaimed, nominated in 2011. So his network is really wide. Me, myself, I've been working in London for more than 17 years as well. So, and I've always been involved into a kind of bit of, I don't know, cultural activism. So we get to know a lot of artists. There's that, if you want to get that image, you get the underground artists, those ones who never make money, that, you know, that your parents are very afraid you're going to become a musician because you're not going to be like on that platform.
Right.
And then you get the big musician, the world-class musician, those that you see on TV, you hear on the radio, you see them everywhere. And then between those two, there's those hard-working artists who are making kind of okay for themselves. They are touring, they are recording albums, they're doing collaboration, but we never get to hear them.
Right.
And those people, we have a wide network of them. Thais Diarra, she came out in my radar because I'm always looking for new artists, new happening, new network. And as a DJ, I'm always like, you know, looking forward to that sound. When I first heard her, that was the sound that I want.
Right.
As a DJ, I think that, you know, to be able to fuse acoustic traditional music and give it a bit of an edge by using, you know, instruments and digital technology is the way to go. That's that's what Afro Groove is about. It's about, you know, bringing the Africanness into the modern age. And when I first heard the album, I was like, you know, that girl, she's singing Bambara from Mali, she's singing Wolof from Senegal, she's singing French, in English, she's using Kora, she's got that new soul vibe, she's comfortable with reggae, she can do the hip hop, she got the fashion sense, she looks amazing, you know, she could be a model, she could be, you know, visually she's good, talent, and the songwriting as well. The lyrics, she's talking about identity, she's talking about, you know, she's a kind of, she's not like a hard political activist, but she's engaged. She talks about issues that concerns of all, as African in Africa and African in displacement and the diaspora, the Afropolitans as we call them,
right.
the Afropeen as we call them.
And she's not the only one that Kigali Up has worked with. This sound check was the Thais Diarra, but there was also Bez who was here. You also had a huge megastar Ismail Lo on our Kigali Up stage. And yeah, Dede, of course, our very own Dede.
You saw Nicole Moussoni as well.
Of course.
Moussoni, she's Rwandese, she's living in Canada, and she's doing that. She's doing her own thing. But at the same time, you know, last year, no, 2 years ago, when she came to do Kigali Up, she took the advantage to go into Gisenyi and to shoot a wonderfully shot video with a partner who's a photographer, and they managed to, if you see that video, you know, you're going to see that. Yeah, she managed to just show Rwanda like people never see before. And she got a different sound, and it's very soulful, and she's got that look, she got this fabulous hair.
So this is the idea of Kigali Up, just bringing African voices that we don't get to see quite as often to our stages.
Is to really elevate. If you're looking at what's going on right now in popular culture, Africa, people are looking at what's going on in Africa. The market, without going too much like, you know, too deep into it, the European market, popular market, is getting saturated.
Right.
So they're looking for new inspiration, and it's very cyclical. You know, they're looking to North America. Arabic sound was very in at some point.
Yeah.
Latin American sound was really in at some point.
Yeah.
The Indian sound was really in at some point.
And now we're looking inward.
The next thing is going to be Africa. But when we talk about the sound of Africa, we're talking about the full cycle, because we say that, you know, every music origin from Africa, and now it's coming back. So we better be ready to defend ourselves.
I mean, Kigali Up is definitely bringing those sounds to us now. Very quickly before we have to wrap up, what is the future of Kigali Up? Because I'm looking forward to the next sound check series every time.
Exactly. So we're going to bring those artists who can inspire you, and you know what you heard in the little vox pop that you did is very what I heard as well after that. I heard musicians telling me that they're looking at music differently because of that thing.
Oh man.
So the idea would be for Kigali Up to be a star springboard, that we can create people and bring them and have her, like, you know, yeah, Angelica Kidjo get an award. Why not a Rwandese in the next few years?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Eric,
You're
for coming
welcome.
and telling us about Kigali Up.
Thank you for having me.
Sound check series as well as Kigali Up. We're looking forward to what else you have coming our way. Eric Kirenga telling us about Kigali Up, telling us about, you know, where he sees the music scene or the music entertainment scene going. I was really excited by that. I love
too.
it.
It's a great piece, and if everybody had as much passion as Eric has in everything he does, man.
Right, for sure. Well, don't forget that we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. We're always looking out for you guys. Like us on Facebook and send us ideas for your programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do and give us a thumbs up. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your photos. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback, so do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching the weekly review edition of Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We'll be back here, same time, same place on Monday, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a very good day and an even better weekend.
Bye-bye.